This video is on why mobility matters, and to give you the quick answer, it's just gonna make your life so much better. So one, it enhances your performance and allows you to move better. The second reason is that it prevents injuries. You're able to do more movements with less injury. And the third one is you're able to get into ranges that once you thought were scary, but now you're confident and you don't even second guess getting to that point. So how does mobility impact sport? Or how does mobility impact life? And all three of those things directly apply to those two things. If you're in sports and you want to play and you're getting to this position, you're going to keep pushing yourself until you get the win often. And that's when people get injured because they're now in the splits in a weak position, but they don't have the mobility to control that. So they find themselves getting more injured. Or maybe you're playing with your grandkids on the floor and you want to get to this position, or you're trying to help them stay up because they're falling over. Well, you're in a weak position, and if you don't have the mobility to control yourself and maybe another moving object, then you're at a high risk of injury. The common myth is that if you become flexible, you're gonna be weak and you're also gonna lose elasticity and you're not gonna be as fast. And that's been debunked multiple times, but to give you the understanding is that if you just train flexibility, you just hold ranges, then yeah, that can happen. But if you do it through ranges and you start moving through ranges with strength, but you're also building the strength in the gym in other ways, that's not gonna happen. And the extra range that you have is gonna be a benefit to all the areas of your life. And this is not just opinion. Scientific research has been done to prove that increased mobility improves athletic performance. And anything that improves athletic performance often just improves your daily life as well, because you become more mobile, more able, and more confident. So what do I mean by strength through range makes you more athletic? Look at the top athletes that have longevity on their side. Kelly Slater is a 50-year-old surfer, still surfing professionally, and he has insane mobility. Just look at these different pictures. You have Cristiano Ronaldo, known for how well he takes care of his health, but also look at this picture. He's doing a bicycle kick, and his legs are almost split. He has control through this really weak range. And then the last one is Michael Jordan as well, known for his immense ability and what he could do on the basketball court, but he also had amazing range and control in these weak ranges while he was playing his sport. That's why he's known for this position. If none of that resonates with you, then just listen for this. Your posture and how you feel is going to improve when you work with mobility. The muscles pulling on your body, if that's tight hip flexors making you bend over, or if that's biceps and a tight chest curling your chest in, when you start opening up those ranges, your posture is going to improve greatly. If you don't care about athletic performance, you don't care about how well you move, just care about how well you feel, and that's with posture. I'm going to teach you how to build a mobility routine that gives you the best results you could ask for. So in training mobility, there's three sections that I put the exercises into. The first one is what I call the start or beginner exercises, and they're just holding the passive ranges, getting comfortable in the ranges where the muscles are stretched and the joints might not be too comfortable. Oftentimes I'll have people start here, or even times I'll have clients just start right here and feel that hip flexor like, whoa, it's really stretching, but we're working to get it to where they're comfortable just holding this position. The second type, or the second section, is getting more advanced and starting to control ranges through movements. So the first step of that is learning to flex the glute to push the hip forward while you're sitting here, flexing the antagonist muscles in the stretch to get more stretch. And then the second part of that is moving through the ranges, feeling this hip flexor stretch out while I have weights here and going down. Oftentimes I'll have people do the first step of this movement with no weight. They're just gaining control and then flexing back, and then we can add weight and gain more stretch. Just like strength training, it's adaptive. So as you do more flexibility and mobility work, you're gonna get stronger and then more competent as you go through it. The last section is what I call extreme long range movements. For the interior chain, we have the tib stretched through here with the feet, then around the knee, through the quad, into the hip flexor, and then back here. The entire front of my body is being stretched. This is a big stretch, but because I'm more comfortable in it, the next step of having that big stretch is being able to control through that stretch. So that takes a lot of time to work up to, but as you continue to grow in your mobility, then you'll be able to advance where you have a lot of control, you get some comfort, but doing the stretch, it's not always comfortable, and you see the results. That's the most important thing with mobility training, is the results, because we're not really doing it because we enjoy it. We're doing it because we enjoy how we live life when we are mobile. So the next section will bring you through how to build the mobility routine for yourself and identifying that weak point that will give you the desired results you're looking for. Now that you know the 3 basic types of mobility training, we're gonna go on to build you the routine that gets you the best results. I'm gonna link my 8-step mobility workout to this video so you can go through it. A little tip is that the area or the movement that you don't like the most is probably where you need to work the most. But with that, you're gonna find the area that you're the tightest. When you find that area, now you can come to this video and we can build that. I'm gonna act like the tightest area for me is the hamstrings, because that's very common for most people to have very tight hamstrings. So you look at the movement and it's like, okay, this muscle seems really tight. I call it the +2 rule. Typically, things that are gonna affect it are 2 steps away and then closer. So if my hamstring is tight, I can look at the calf and I can look at the plantar fascia. I can also look at the glutes and I can look at the lower back. All those things, when we open them up, are going to help the hamstrings relax more and more. So when I talked earlier about extreme long range, that's when we're stretching all of those areas that are connected to it. So when you're building the routine, you're gonna look at the 3 tightest parts of that chain. So oftentimes, let's say the hamstring, it's gonna also be the calf, and it's gonna also be the glute or the lower back. The good thing is that as you curl down, you're gonna stretch the lower back as well, as long as you let it curl. If you keep it straight, you're gonna stretch the hamstring a little bit more. The plantar fascia stretch is a specific one that opens up the fascia. Sometimes for people, that's where they're the tightest, but other times it's just opening up the muscle and letting it relax as you go through. So let's say I do a routine with 3 movements, and it's the calf stretch, I'm holding it for a minute, and then the hamstring stretch, and then let's say I'm a little bit more advanced, so I do a Jefferson curl, which is more of an extreme long range, where I'm curling down to the bottom, I'm controlling through the movement, and then I'm coming back up nice and slow. When I have my feet elevated, it's a lot more stretch because it stretches the bottom. If I do it like this, it's a little less stretch and it's easier to work into, and it puts more load into the back because that's now the limiting factor versus the calves. All of this comes together. You can be even more advanced with a exercise that then flexes the antagonist muscle. So as I bend down, this hip flexor should guide the body down, because if I'm here, the hip flexor is active. So if I add a movement that then contracts the antagonist muscle, I'm able to get a better contraction in the stretch as I go down. Just an example, hamstrings are tight. I do calf stretch, I do hamstring stretch, then I do a hip flexor lift, and then I do a Jefferson curl, and I can repeat that. If I want another one, I can even add in an L sit. So all of this stuff comes together to give you the routine that you need. And it's the same pattern with your hip flexors, with your glutes, even with your upper body. If your biceps are tight, you gotta look at the forearms, you gotta look at the pecs, you gotta look at the back. All of those things are connected. And when you open them up as a whole body, the mobility increases and you just become a more mobile, confident human. So to wrap this all up, when you increase your mobility, you'll become a more athletic person, you'll become more confident in your movement, and you'll just be a better mover. You'll enjoy moving throughout your life a lot more. And you can't act like it's not a reality when you look at these high-level athletes who are known for having good mobility, and then they are able to perform in their sport better and longer. So subscribe to the channel and we'll go through more and more of this flexibility, mobility stuff. You'll have more routines to use, and like the video because it helps me out, and we'll be able to go farther and farther, give you more and more value with each video.